Hello there, Legacy Legion. I am Josh Reinaas, aka The Reinaas, aka Rhino, aka Filthy O'Blaze, and I'm here to show you In My Bag! A little bit about myself. I am from Marquette, Michigan, which is in the UP of Michigan, right on Lake Superior. I've been throwing competitively now for about 3 years. 2 of those have been straight Legacy. Ever since I moved to being straight Legacy, my game has gone up exponentially and I've never looked back. We've got a lot of discs to get through, so let's get down to it. Starting with my high-speed drivers, right away, we've got the first run Nemesis. I don't break this guy out very often, but when I do, it's for generally something that's huge and to the right. I break this out for big anti-bombs when I've got the room off the tee, and for some control shots off the tee as well. I know that I can pop this out on a hyzer line. It's going to come up flat and finish off nice and easy. Doesn't see the light of day very often, but I always have it around still. Next is a new addition to my bag, my first run Aftermath. It's kind of lippy, so I know it can go out to the right, but it's going to have enough chance to stable up and come back. And if I put it out there on the hyzer line, it's going to hold it pretty much the whole way through. I've been doing some good work with this one so far, and I'm really looking forward to the summer to get this guy out in the open.
There you go. Come back.
Next we have my Skyline cannon. I've got a few Skylines in the bag because up north here in Upper Michigan, we have a lot of winter. So during our winter rounds, our tee pads are short or no tee pad at all, and you're throwing off of ice and snow. So I need to be able to get power down range still without having the ability to get some steps in. That's why I like some Skyline stuff. I keep my cannon in the bag for when I've got a little bit more chance to get some open shots on some courses in the south, and for when I don't have a lot of wind out here on nice days. I can really get this guy downrange. Next we have 5 Outlaws. Got 2 Skylines, a pink one from the newest run, and a 40th anniversary Winter Open one. I've been preferring this one a little bit more because in the winter, I find this blue to be just a little bit more gummy, so I get a better feel in the hand. But both of these bad boys, I'm getting downrange. They've really added a lot of distance to my game. This is my very first Outlaw, an orange icon. I keep this in the bag because I've got it nice and beat in, so it's just a little less stable than my other ones, and this guy is still a heavier one at 174, so I keep it around for one sentimental reason. I love it so much. And because this is my wind fighter. When I need a little bit more weight out there to counteract these fierce UP winds, this is what I'm reaching for. Next we have my first run Black Sparkle. I love this thing so much. I call it my murder machine because it's the black on black. This is my go-to Outlaw. When I've got the availability to hit a little bit more open courses, or if I'm feeling froggy on one of my local courses which are really heavily wooded, this is what I'll grab. I'm putting this guy down range 400 feet real easy. Does everything that I want it to. I know I can pop this out on a little bit of an ante. It's going to stable up real fast, go straight and finish out. Or if I put it on a nice hyzer line, it's going to go a little bit straighter and then finish out hard. Love this guy so much. Last but not least of my Outlaws is my Burgundy Pinnacle. I like this guy a lot for its meatiness. When I need something a little bit more stable than my Murder Machine, but not as stable as my Rampage, this is the guy that I go to. It gets real good distance, but still gets left. Next is my Icon Rampage, a Coffinator. I am in love with this thing. This is the meatiest disc I've ever thrown. I can launch this guy out straight and I know it's going right. Anytime I need something huge hyzer action, this is what I'm going to. Also, I love putting this guy out there on the anti-flick, watching it go out hard left and come back to the right in just fantastic fashion. And I'm pretty certain this guy's going to make me some money. Moving into my fairway drivers, I've got a red Icon Skullboy Mongoose. Much like my nemesis, this guy doesn't come out all that often, but when I need something to go right and only right, this is what I'm pulling out. Next we have my Confidence Clash Bandit. This is the guy that I love for my anti-bombs. I like putting this guy out high and hard and just watching it come back and have just enough stability to finish a little bit more flat than coming in hard on skipping out. When I need a placement shot with a good anti-bomb, this is what I'm going to.
Wow, bravery. It is. Oh!
Next we have my Pinnacle Patriot. I love this guy for how controllable it is. I can put this guy out on just that slightest little bit of ante and it's gonna float out there and stable up just enough to finish straight. I keep a green one in the winter, which is a 167, because A, green's easier to find in the snow, and B, again, because of the shorter tee pads, I like having something that's a little bit less heavy in the hand during the winter. During the summer, same thing more or less, just a little heavier, and because I don't like losing green discs in the woods, I've got a pink one for the summer. Next in the line is my Icon Phenom. This is my control freak. When I need something to go straight, this is what I'm going to. Next, I bag 3 rivals. First is my purple Icon. This was my very first rival and I love it. I like the purple in the Icon because the purple's a little bit more domey. That dominess combined with how well I've got this guy beat in gives it this sort of magical combination of stability that's not as stable as a normal rival, but just a little bit more stable than my Phenom. When I need accuracy, when I need controllability, this is what I'm going for. When I need distance out of my rival though, there's nothing that can touch my gunmetal Pinnacle. I've got at least 3 or 4 holes in my local courses that are going to get aced off this bad boy this year. I love how freaking far I can get this guy to go with just the slightest bit of ante on it and watch it just stable up and come back and finish with a nice little bit of fade. I am in love with this guy. Last but not least out of my rivals is my lighter Icon. I keep a lighter Icon because I keep it on the flick. I am not the best flick on my throws yet, so I like having something a little bit lighter so I can still get the power underneath it with my sort of amateur throw. Does a lot of work for me. Next I have my enemies. I have a gold sparkle for my main thrower. I can crank this guy out there nice and flat, watch it launch, and then come back hard to the left. This guy stables up so beautifully and is great for my shorter hyzer shots that are kind of uphill. Love this disc so much. Much like my rival, I keep an Icon in a lower weight because I like the ability to flick it. When I have off the tee a shorter window for my drives, but I'm still got a big right hand corner, I'm going to this if I can't get an ante out there. I love this disc as well. Finally, in my throwers in the fairway, I bag a fighter. This guy is my meat hook. I love just dropping this guy out hard and high on a big hyzer and watching it come up and just crash back down. Anytime I need to get something down there around a tree or any sort of big hyzer bomb need, this is what I go to. Moving on to my mids, we got my Pinnacle Gauge. This was actually the very first Legacy ace I ever picked up. I keep this guy around for big antes in that will stable up and just finish straight. I love this disc also for very straight approach shots that are just outside of the range of my putter approaches. Great disc. Whether it's winter or summer, I always bag two ghosts. In the winter, I bag the Gravity Ghost because Gravity Plastic is bar none the best cold weather and wet weather plastic. In the cold, it stays nice and pliable, and in the wet, I can pull this guy out of a bucket of water, and I'll still be able to get enough grip out of it to get it out of my hand, but it's not so grippy that it's just gonna stick. I keep the black one around because it's nice and puddle toppy, and it's just a little bit more stable than my gauge, and this is my go-to. I love this guy for its reliability. Any line that I give this thing, it's gonna hold it. If I drop it out on Annie, it's gonna follow it the entire way. If I put it out straight, it's an arrow. If I put it out on a hyzer, it's only gonna pop up a little, and it's gonna follow that hyzer line the entire way. Super reliable and great to find in the snow. In the summer, I have my Confidence Clash Swirl Master because it's just so sexy, and also it's a little bit stiffer so it can take a little bit more power and get down range for me. My Black Pinnacle though is more or less my clone of my Green Gravity. Any line that I put this guy on, it's holding. So reliable, so dependable, I love it. And also, since it's Pinnacle, it's not actually black. I don't know if it'll pick up in the light, but it's more of an actual charcoal crystal, which is neat because during last year's eclipse with a pair of sunglasses, this is how I watched the eclipse. It was fun. Moving into my putters, start with my Hunter. Again, Gravity during the winter and a Legend during the summer. I love these guys for how straight they are. 90% of my upshots and my layups are going to be done with the Hunter. I know that this guy is going to go exactly where I pointed it. And if I need to get around a tree or some sort of obstacle on an Annie line coming up short, I know for a fact that this guy is going to turn right for me. Love, love, love the Hunter. Next, we got my closers. Again, Gravity during the winter, and I just picked up the experimental Pinnacle blend for my summer bag. I've already got this guy out on some field testing since I was able to get it into the Superior Dome here in Marquette, Michigan, and let me tell you, this thing is amazing out of the hand. I can't wait to nail some aces with this one, like I've done with this one. I love how available this guy is to put out there on an Annie line and just watch it come back straight. It's so gorgeous for that. And anytime I need to do a nice little hyzer putt, I can get this thing into chains with just the slightest amount of effort. Love the closer. I will always have one in my bag. For my main putter, I always have some prowlers on hand. Again, Gravity in the winter and a couple for the summer. In the winter, I keep my more beat up one for shots that are a little bit more farther out because I know it's going to be straight on and I can pretty much count on it. And I keep my Coffinator one because it's a little bit newer. I know it's got a little bit more fade in it, and I like dropping this guy off the tee pad at a couple of my shorter holes in the local area because, well, why wouldn't you try and get some aces with the Coffinator? During the summer, I keep my Protege around for my farther out shots because I know it's going to be reliably straight on, and I've got this sexy blacked out icon for my closer shots because I know it's still got a little bit more fade on it, and besides, it's so sexy. Going into my specialty pockets, I've got two rolling discs. I've got a Legend Nemesis for those rolling shots that I need to get it out down range a little bit farther before it hits ground. I can drop this guy out on a huge Annie bomb and it'll drop and run for days. Love it. For ones that I need to get onto the ground quicker though, I go with this first run Mongoose. I can more or less just throw this thing straight at the ground and it's going to get down range with the quickness. The also little neat thing about this, when I was sold it, I was told that it used to be Steve Rico's rolling disc in his bag, but after some research, since there isn't a PDGA number underneath the name there, it might be a fake. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day though, because it's never coming out of my bag. On the other side, I keep my overhead discs. I keep an icon enemy for my Scramble Master. If I am in the bush and I got twigs and whatever the hell around me, and I just got no throw, I will break this guy out because I know I can just rock this guy through any little bit of space that I have, and it'll pop through. It has reliably got me out of so many horrible drives. It's near to my heart. And for my driving overhead disc, this is my Legend Phenom. I love this disc so much for my overhead drives, especially my thumber. I know I can pop this guy out hard. It's going to turn over and flash skip up off that faceplate so hard. It's great. And it's also reliable on the Tomahawk as well. Going to come over and dive in. It's just one of the, if not the best, overhead disc that I've ever put in.
Wow.
To finish things up, I got my minis. I've got my nice little swirly Coffinator one for my happy-go-lucky casual rounds because, come on, who wouldn't be happy with that little nugget of joy? But when it comes time to get real, and I got tournament play or league, I bust out the metalhead when it's time to get serious. Finally, what bag wouldn't be complete without, well, a little confidence bag. I actually really like the Legacy Confidence bag because it's a little more tightly packed and I don't get huge clouds of dust in my face anytime that I pop this around in my hands or tap my disc with it. I like this guy a lot. And finally, of course, I've got the Legacy Edition Upper Park Rebel bag. Complete with all the trimmings that Legacy put on it. You combo that with all the amounts of crazy storage in here, the nice water bottle holders, and that great back padding. This is the only bag that I'll probably ever have in my entire life. I love it so much. So, there you are. That's what's in my bag. And now my bag's all on the floor. So I gotta get it back in my bag and get out onto the course. You do the same, Legacy Legion. And remember, play with confidence. See you out there.